All right, now that we've finished completing the basic shell of our portfolio, now it's time to start creating all the pages that go inside of it. You'll see here that I'm on the BIS Portfolio Content Guideline page, where all the modules, design modules are for the tutorials. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with creating new pages. And you'll notice in this tutorial here that I have going on, there are 5.1 to 5.4. I'm going to change those and create that as just one tutorial. So we're going to do this all in one fell swoop. We're going to create all the rest of our pages, all 4 pages, in one tutorial. So I'm going to toggle back over to Dreamweaver here, and you'll notice that I already have my index page open, and if I switch on to design view, you'll see that I've got my nav bar going on, and right now it kind of looks funky because the text is on top of each other and you can't see it. If I switch over to live view, you'll see that my navigation menu is functioning with that hover over property. So here we have our basic shell of our portfolio, and we're going to use this shell to create the rest of our pages. And it's really quite simple. All we're going to do is we're going to go up to File, Save As, and here you'll notice that in my Select File menu, this file is called Index, and we want to save index. We want to keep index as it is, but we need to create a new page called Resume. So we're doing this because we don't want to have to go back and restyle an entire page, just to create our resume page. So what we're going to do instead is just save this page as resume, and it's going to look exactly just like the index page, which is what we want. We want it to be the exact same, all of our pages to be the exact same, as our other pages. So all I do is type in resume there, and then click save. Okay, and then a new tab opens up with resume.html. What we're going to do to differentiate each of these pages so that later on when we go and to make sure that our navigation menu works is we're going to go ahead and type in resume in the body. So I'm just going to click in the body here in design view, and you'll notice that I'm on live, so it won't let me do anything. I can't really type or anything like that, so I need to switch from live to design. Okay, so I'm just going to place my cursor in there and then type in resume. I'll pop back over to the code view real quick to show what this looks like. Here it just put it right in there in that third paragraph that I had in my content area, which is fine. If I want to move it, I can place my cursor after div ID content there and hit the enter return key and just highlight that line of code and then move it up to the top, and then definitely want to tab that over by placing my cursor in front of that P tag, and then I can get rid of any extra lines of code that I don't want. We don't necessarily have to do this for every one of these pages, but I just wanted to show you that it's pretty easy to put in text either way, either in the code view or in the design view. And the reason why we just put in resume here is later on when we go to link these pages up, we want to make sure that we have a little bit of an issue here. We have our resume flowing over, and it's getting pushed over because of our navigation menu. Let's see if that changes in live view, and it does. So sometimes that does happen when Dreamweaver does render a page for some reason, because we floated our navigation menu right here, and because we floated it, and if it doesn't quite clear it, it inherits that float property. Now there's a way to clear that out pretty easily, but we're going to do that later on in our tutorial. So if that happens to you, don't worry about it for right now, and if you do want to fix it, chances are it's probably because your navigation menu just goes down a little bit too far, using the padding value. It pushes it down just a little bit too far there, so that's the reason why it's doing that. So I'm going to switch over to design view there, click back over to code. We're going to go ahead and save this file, so I'm going to hit Control S or Command S, and then I'm just going to continue doing this for the rest of my pages. I can even do this with the resume page, believe it or not, or I could select index page and go File, Save As, and do the same thing for our next page. Now for this page, this one's going to be education research. Now when naming HTML files, you don't want to leave spaces, because what will happen is if I leave a space here in my file name, when this goes to the web server and gets published as a website, um, web browsers don't recognize spaces in file names, and so what it'll do is it'll put like this reverse 20% symbol in there, so it looks like it's a percentage sign and then it's like 20, and that's the symbol or the code for representing a space in file names when a browser renders it. So it adds extra stuff. It adds 3 extra characters to your file name when you don't really want it there. So the way around that is to either just eliminate the space, so it just says education research as one word, or you can put in a dash education research, or you can put in an underscore, so that reads pretty nicely. Or you can also do, sometimes what I like to do is just capitalize the second word, and it's no space, so it's education, no space, and then capitalize research. However you like to do it, it's totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and do it with an underscore there. It reads pretty nicely that way. Okay, and then we just hit save again. So in the same thing here, we want to actually put in education research somewhere in our paragraph. So I'm just going to switch out of live view because it's still in live view there, and I'm just going to place my cursor there in that empty space that I created, and I'm just going to go ahead and type it in this interface because it's there, it's easy, and all this is doing for me later on is just to remind me that this is that page. And then I'm going to save this page, so Control S or Command S if you're on a Mac, and then I'm going to continue on with the rest of my pages. I can even do it from this page. I'm going to go File, Save As. So instead of Education Research, this is going to be Career underscore Exploration. And then I'm going to hit Save. And then here in this text box, I'm going to change that to Career Exploration. And then I'm going to hit Control S or Command S on the Mac. And then I have one more page left, and that's the showcase. So I'm just going to go File, Save As one more time, Showcase, and hit Save. And then where it says Career Exploration, type in Showcase, and then Control S, Command S. So now what you see up at the very top here is I have all 5 tabs open, and you notice as I click on those tabs, click back to design view there, as I click on those tabs, you'll see that I have each one of those with a name in there, except for my home page. My home page doesn't have that in there, which I could easily just do. Come in here and type in home, and then Control S or Command S. So now what you'll see is I have all of my pages here built for my portfolio, and when you have them open, you'll see them up as tabs in Dreamweaver. Here's the other cool thing, is when we did this by file saving as and creating these as just the same file but with a different name, we also have included with it as is our style sheet. And here's where a style sheet really becomes important. So say for some reason you want to change the color of your navigation menu. So by having and linking these all to a style sheet, if I want to change that, so that would be navbar ULLIA, if I want to change that color to say a yellow, or let's do a red, just to illustrate my point here. I'll change it back afterwards. Okay. Now if I click back onto source code and click design, my links are going to be red. But because my style sheet is linked on all of my pages, and these are designed the same way, when I go back to all my pages, all of my links are red. So you only have to change the color one time in our style sheet, and it'll change the color of your links or that element for all 5 of your pages. That's the power of a style sheet. So I could be on any one of these pages. I could be on resume and go back to my style sheet and change this back to white. Okay, click back on design there. See, there it is, white. Go over to showcase, boom, white. That's the power of CSS and the power of a style sheet. Alright, so in the next tutorial, we are going to link our navigation menu to all 5 of those pages so that we have a functioning navigation menu. And from there, the shell will be complete, and then we can start inserting content into each of our pages.